Hello Intuitors, it's Aria here. Welcome back to the Intuit Cafe, or as I have renamed it, the Intuit Oracle. I am really excited to bring you another week's worth of readings by sign of the zodiac. I'll be diving right into that in a moment. This will be the same introduction on every video, so if you watch or cross-watch for your moon or rising or Venus signs, or for maybe that partner's sign, you can go ahead and skip forward to the start of the reading. And I just wanted to give a little bit of an update about what's going on with the cards. In case you're new to the channel, the project I just completed, creating my own set of Oracle cards, which really is kind of a intermediate step in the process of my ultimate goal, which truly is to be bringing to everyone some kind of useful tools and ways that they can utilize to tap into their own intuition. And of course, Oracle cards are a really good way to do that with what you can feel inside of you the cards are trying to say to you, when it's not the cards actually, it's your higher self. You're tapping into your higher knowing and the knowing of your higher mind. But the thing and the reason that I believe cards as an intuitive tool works is because all they're doing is they're tricking our conscious mind into kind of taking a back seat and not imposing on our consciousness, on our conscious thought, what it thinks. Because our conscious mind, which I call the planetary mind, it's filled with all kinds of programming and preconceived ideas, and it is not tapped into that higher knowing. And if we want to deliberately tap into our higher knowing, we have to transcend the planetary mind, the ego mind, whatever you want to call it. And the cards are a way of helping us do that, or any kind of intuitive tool actually is a way of helping us do that. And again, I've said this before, but I want to reiterate that I also believe that anyone who goes to YouTube and watches readers such as myself or other readers on YouTube, you're still actually tapping into your own intuitive knowing. And that's the reason that general readings actually work, is because for one, I do believe that energetically it's a very fluid way for the universe to interact with us and send us messages. So, you know, for example, we can be prompted in just some little voice or just urge that's like, you know, I just want to go on YouTube right now and check if, you know, readings. And you just happen to go to one person's reading, and maybe you watch your moon sign and you normally watch your sun sign. So like, you know, whatever, it doesn't matter. You're being guided along the way to see the reading that was really meant for you. And even when you're watching it, then you also are still picking and choosing the parts that resonate and the parts that don't. I always get better, more specific, and even greater detailed readings for people that I do individual readings for. It's always harder to read for ourselves than it is for someone else because of our planetary mind jumping in and wanting to say, no, that's not it, or even just not seeing things. Our planetary mind does get in the way. So ultimately, my goal is to create and develop and launch different intuitive tools. These cards are just a stepping stone. I've already gone through the entire process of developing a really kick-ass app for tarot, and I'm going to use Lenormand in it, and really my plan eventually would be possibly to do a lot of different kinds of intuitive tools, Oracle cards or whatever, all in this app. I have a way of delivering and helping people create their own messages in that app that's not like any other app out there. I'm super excited about it, but I had to completely shelve the project because I got to a certain point where it was developed and then I couldn't go any further without more money. And I was doing a channeling session with a very close friend of mine where we go in and we channel my higher self, and I'll ask the questions and then she receives the message from her. And again, I'm using her as a tool to kind of bypass my planetary mind that will block those messages from coming into me, which sometimes I do get messages and sometimes I feel like I'm not sure, you know, if I'm getting the right messages. Well, anyway, I asked, you know, how will I get the money to develop this app? And my higher self, whose name is Aria, that's why I go by that name when I'm reading, Aria says, well, you'll do it through some kind of crowdfunding. And I said, okay, so should I launch a Kickstarter, you know, to develop the app with the goal of raising money to develop the app? And she said, no, you'll come up with some other project that will be some other creative project that will raise the money for your app. And then I was like, oh, I wonder what that'll be. And then she goes, no, just stop. you're not going to like get there by trying to get there. If you try to think of a way to come up with this creative project, then it won't come to you like that. It'll just come to you. And the only hint she would give me was that I'll really enjoy doing it, and it utilizes my creative skills and abilities. And so I shelved that piece of information so completely that I had 100% forgotten about it. I didn't even think of it. So then I suddenly got this idea for these cards, and I was so excited about it, and I just dove into it, as you might know if you've been following me and didn't hear from me for a month. And so just completed that, and it wasn't until I was all the way finished with it that I was really starting to think, I think these cards have the potential to do really well. That's what, it hit me. I was like, I could use this to develop the app. I could raise the money for my own app this way. And even then I didn't remember what I had been told by my higher self in that session until later. And it really blew me away because it came true, and it came true exactly the way she said it would, that I wouldn't be like searching for it, that it would just come to me. And I have to say that along the way, the entire process has truly been about learning to surrender my control over things and just going with the flow, creating and manifesting things with the energy of the archetypes of the tarot. Tell us a lot about how to do that, with the magician is the manifester, but the fool takes the leap. And then we have the empress that just attracts things to her. But then we have the emperor that just goes out and gets things done. We have the high priestess, that's our higher knowing that guides us along the way, and so forth. That's the journey of the fool through the major arcana. So that's really what this has been about. And when I'm going to continue to do readings on a weekly basis, because partly just as a gift to everybody who's following me already, and then I want to build a larger audience so that when I'm able to launch the app, we have a place to tell people about it. But in light of all of that, first of all, every one of you, I know you have your own journeys. You come to my channel for different reasons. I do think from the feedback I get that most people are on kind of like some kind of divine love journey, awakening process, where you really realize that you're here on the planet for doing something extraordinary. And something extraordinary might just be how you live your life, that you live your life with so much light and love, and you bring in like a higher way of living and being. But along the way, I think we all kind of have this urge and this desire to create and make something that's above and beyond where everybody's kind of been at on this planet for so long. We really are trying to, we're not just trying to, we really are creating the higher dimensional living, which is where we're all headed. We're all headed into a higher frequency, where we're tuned into, our consciousness is tuned into our true divinity and the power of who we are as human beings, what we can really do and what we can really accomplish. Now, having said all of that, this introduction got quite long. I'm going to try to keep your readings short this week. They're going to be just a quick look at the week ahead. Thank you guys so much for liking, subscribing, sharing my channel with others. And before I forget, the final thing is that my Kickstarter is doing really well. I'm at 70% funded, and I really would like to do about twice that many. If you are interested in these cards at all, please consider backing it. Share it with others if you know anybody else who might. And again, think about the fact that these cards are actually going to help bring in something else even bigger. So this is seed money to print a larger printing, which then will help me develop and publish the app. All right, so because of that, I'm going to have a special gift. Anybody who backs my campaign, who's a viewer of my YouTube channel, go ahead and you can just select the $66 package, which is the Oracle Trio of the 3 decks, and I will throw in for you the 10 planetary influencers, which is a $22 value, if you just message me back, and that way I'll make sure that you get the extra bonus without having to pay the next package up, which includes it. So just wanted to give you guys that, just my special gift to you for backing my campaign. Again, share this with others if you are so inclined, and we will talk to you soon. Stay tuned right now for your reading by your sign in the zodiac. Hello Pisces. So I am going to shuffle these cards right now and put them out for our reading. And this is the first 2 decks of my Oracle, so the nuance and the picturesque and the Norman are mixed in. And I just wanted to let you know that if you've never done any card reading before, but you would like to maybe start doing your own, that's exactly why I designed this deck of cards. Or even if you have read a lot of cards in your life, but you know, those of us who do that, we kind of get, you know, excited about getting different decks of cards because it's always fun to, you know, try out. I feel like different messages come through with different cards. Anyway, I guarantee that even if you've never read cards before, that anybody can get their planetary mind to take a back seat and with these cards and be able to receive messages from your higher self. So I would love to have you check out my Kickstarter campaign and get a deck. I'm going to do a 5-card spread about your week ahead. Middle card talks about the main theme, and it is the magnet. It's about some kind of longing, something you really desire, about something pulling toward you, what you are pulling toward yourself, and you're magnetically attracting it. There's some kind of charm, seduction, or even a yearning quality to this attraction. But the beautiful thing is that it really does focus on you, is you are the one who you're pulling it in. You are truly there's an element of manifesting this, but like or pulling something in from higher realms and then bringing it into reality, and that's what is happening for you right now. And we kind of get a little bit of an echo with that with the mortar and pestle, which is about alchemizing something and you know, the brewing of something, like mixing and taking different pieces, breaking them down and putting them together to create something new. So where this is more just like the attracting it and pulling it into you, this is then what you do with those resources that you've attracted and pulled in. But what's interesting is that there is some kind of big disruption, storm, something that is coming this week possibly, or developing and will come soon, that even though it may kind of have a feeling of like it tore everything up, it destroyed things, it actually is part of this process. It's a piece of this. So this is, you're attracting it to you. So when it comes, you're going to be like, oh no, this horrible thing is happening. Oh my gosh, what's going on? But you have to realize that you pulled it in. And because everything is frequency and vibration, and so you're vibrating at a certain frequency, but you also have like this overarching soul path that you set out for yourself. I believe even before you're born, you laid it all out, what you wanted to accomplish and how you wanted to grow. And so I feel like most of you guys are, you know, somewhat aware of this journey that you're on, and you're doing your very best to put out, like I'm even seeing these waves, you know, this waves of energy. You're doing your best to really tune into the frequencies that are in your highest and best good. But sometimes, you know, we still have something in our energetic field that needs to get broken down. And there's the slow process of breaking it down, which is the mortar and pestle. But then there's also like this really, you know, destructive process of breaking things down. So, you know, you'll attract and pull this into your experience. And maybe when it happens, you're wondering why. But remember, overall, in fact, they're just saying some of you are already experiencing this right now. Overall, it's coming up to remind you that it is part of the process. It is part of your growth, and it will, in the end, you'll like use the pieces, like the storm comes along and breaks a lot of things down, but then you're going to scavenge around and pick up all those pieces and then create something really amazing out of it. You're going to alchemize the pieces that are left and make something good. So we have the stars and the house. The stars are about wishes being granted and things falling in, or falling in love. And I saw the falling, and they were like things falling into place. So if things are falling into place around something to do with your home, your boundaries, the building shelters, but the place that you feel safe. This could even just be with a home within inside of you, but it could be your literal home. And there's something, I kind of, you know, it is all connected in some ways. So it's like, you've been wanting to create some kind of home that you haven't had it all together yet. Like all the pieces are there, you're working on it, you're working to create it, manifest, attract. You had this desire and longing to create it. It is a wish that will be granted, and it is coming in. But this process of getting there is also involving tearing some things up, breaking some things down in order to put it all together again to create what it is you really want. So what I feel in summary with this reading is just here to say, you're going through some tough times. You've gone through this storm. You still have some maybe more to go. Sometimes you feel like you're in that bowl right there getting pounded and broken down. But in the end, it is going to be creating and helping you manifest what you truly desire. And then in this sense, the home and the house doesn't just mean home. It also could just be your life, like what it is you truly desire for your life. And you really you've been manifesting this. So even when it's tough, you've manifested it into your experience. So I'm going to go ahead and pull an animal, spirit animal card for some extra advice, insights, or supports. Take this one, and it's the Lion, which is authority, ego, self-esteem, pride, what's fair and just, and being heart-centered. So for whoever that message is meant for, maybe you have a significant Leo in your life. But the Lion is also, makes me think of the Strength card in the tarot. So it's also about just being strong, being firm, and standing your ground, and letting you know you are the authority over your own life. You are attracting all this stuff in, but it's still up to you what you do with it. You're the ultimate authority. For example, you might have had some kind of circumstances and situations bring things to you that have, you know, gone into this bowl that you're pounding and creating something out of. But it doesn't mean you have to accept all those pieces. You still have the authority to reject some pieces, accept others, and, you know, pick and choose. You are your own highest authority. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching my channel and these readings. And if you'd like to have a set of my cards, go to my Kickstarter and be a backer, choose the $66 package, and I'll give you this extra set of 10 more cards, which I'm only producing for the Kickstarter campaign, and I'll give them to you for free for being my listeners and for watching me here. So thanks so much, and we'll see you around. We'll see you next week.